Welcome back to another sneak peek of the SimGuardian, the living archive I'm building for our Sims. Today I want to get into how you can keep track of your own goals as a Simmer, the accomplishments you make in the game, and where you can collect and organize all those storyline ideas and whatnot. So first we're on the My Goals page, which you can access via the Plan section here in the sidebar navigation, and it's the first little title here. When you click on that, you'll be sent to this page. First, we have our little progress section, which can be opened and closed, where you have an overview of progress you're making for your creation goals. So that could be for character creation and building, and also for legacy growth. So you can keep track of how many characters you've created this month, this year, and in total, and the same for how many properties or builds you've created this month, this year, and in total. When I say created, that means characters or builds you've created from scratch, not necessarily a character that was birthed into the game or a character you downloaded from the gallery. So those are also tallied up here in this section with we've created 4 characters in total of the collected 51. Included in the 51 characters are how many you've actually collected in entirety in the SimGuardian in the character database. But 4 of those characters you actually created yourself, so in CAS. Whereas in building, it's the same thing. You actually created yourself 1 build in total, or you marked it as such, whereas the other 5 in that case are builds from the gallery or pre-existing builds. Then we have our legacy growth, which, as the name says, it just basically tallies up the generations that you've completed over time, so within this month and the past year, so that you know how well you're progressing with your legacy gameplay. And we also have here a little preview of your current challenges and how you're progressing there as well. So that's, again, I will be saying this till the end of time. It's why I love Notion so much. You create something here, like at point A, and at point B, you can show that information again in any way you'd like that you need for that page. So for example, I have on the challenge page, I go way into detail, and on this My Goals page, I only need to know, where I am in that current challenge, the name of the challenge, and, if it's a legacy challenge, it's nice to know which legacy is associated with it and the game, since this is a page that will, collect information from across all games, so it's nice to know which, game I'm playing for this challenge, but that's all you need to know, and from a high-level view, oh, okay, coolio, I'm working on that challenge. We're working at the beginning, but we'll get there, and you can have it top of mind. And then we have these sections here. In the My Goals section is where you can, first of all, set your creation goals. So you can decide for your characters, building, and legacies, how fast you basically, or how much you want to do per month and per year. So say you want to create 20 characters this month, and in total this year you want, or per month, and well, it's actually also this month. You could see it as per month, because if you left it as 2, it would be per month. But every month you could come back and you can readjust things at any time. And then it will change here accordingly. Let's say you're ambitious. You want to go for 50 characters this year. And then it'll update here accordingly. And the same goes for the build goal setting. So this is how many builds you want to complete this month. And if we tally it up, if we say 2 builds per month, well, that's 24 per year. And with your legacy goal setting, that's basically just trying to get you to complete generations, because a legacy doesn't necessarily have an end point unless it's maybe a legacy challenge, which doesn't mean you actually have to stop playing that legacy. But a legacy is theoretically something that just keeps going and going unless, your save file breaks or something like that. Oh, God forbid. So here we're just following how many generations you're actually completing per month. So we've completed 1 generation this month, and so it's tallied here. If I said I only wanted to complete 1 generation this month, then I get a little check mark saying that I've accomplished that goal for the month. I could still complete more if I wanted to, but I can see here, oh, okay, I've completed that, and it just makes you feel a little bit accomplished. You have something that shows you, oh, you actually are moving forward with that progress, and it's just nice to have that, right? And so you can close this where you make those settings, and then here you have your more general goals as a simmer. So for example, you need to organize and update your mods folder. Or for example, I'm playing with this save file called Blooming save file, and it's gorgeous, but there's still a couple of properties that I personally really like and prefer in my personal little collection. And so I want to swap some out or add some to that save file. And then I want to begin with a new Sims journey. And so I jot that down to keep it front of mind. I could even make notes if I wanted to. So I could click in here. I could do various things. So I could associate with a save file, with different characters, with even a challenge, and add notes if I wanted to. Or, I can just, if nothing more than just the game is necessary, then I can leave it as is. And anything I've completed would go under the completed goals section. So that's my goals section, short and sweet. And then we have my accomplishments. So we have game achievements. So I didn't go into detail about this when I was showing off the sim profiles or the character profiles, but each character also has an achievement section where you can easily and quickly add a life goal, a level, a career, a skill, a degree, or a collection as an achievement that they're working towards. And a level, for example, as you can see, it could be a level for a restaurant that they're owning, that they want to reach a 5-star restaurant. Or the level could be a werewolf rank or something like that. So there are all sorts of different types of achievements in various games, so across the board, Sims 2, 3, or 4, that are, kind of ranked kind of goals or achievements, and so those would be included here. But you of course classically have your careers, your skills, and whatnot, and you can keep track of that in the sim profile, and anytime you've achieved one, it rolls up here, so you automatically see all of the achievements as well. And you can see it by game. So if even Dell, when you were playing The Sims 2, reached the top level of the oceanography career, well, you see that here. He's now Hand of Poseidon. Good for him. And you can just see basically collect the achievements you've accomplished so far in the game. And then here we have the characters you've created. So those are the same characters here that are tallied up. So those are the ones I've marked as made in CAS. So those are the characters I've actually created myself, and so they're collected here. And again, they'll be organized by game. And then the same goes for properties built, legacy progress, for example. Here we can see I currently have 2 legacies ongoing, the Terode legacy and the Finchwick legacy, how many generations have been completed so far in the current generation. I can see at a high level, let's say I did really well and like 100 completed generations. I would see that here and I would feel good about myself. We're getting there, okay? I can see the challenges I've completed would be under that tab, and I don't want to go into this one yet. This is something I haven't shared yet. Very new. It's Simtainment. That is a bit of an extra, a bonus that will come with the SimGuardian. It's not really related to, the core features of the SimGuardian, which the purpose is really to keep track of your Sims gameplay, make it easier to control things, to organize your lore and all that. The Simtainment tracker is really more to collect, as the name says, Simtainment that you enjoy. So that could be machinimas, Let's Plays, and stuff like that. It's a place where you can collect them all and also connect the pieces to creators. I'm not going to go into it, but it's a fun thing. And anytime you've collected Simtainment and completed it, then it will also pop up here, because I feel like that's also an accomplishment. Sometimes, people have like seasons worth of Let's Plays or series that they've created, really enjoy it. And if you've actually completed it, then it's cool to see it here as well. And so that's all I want to show today on the goals page. Now let's move on to notes and ideas. So this is the page where you'll collect all of your story ideas, gameplay ideas, build ideas, match ideas, name ideas, and here you also have just like a scratch pad for general notes. So story ideas, as the name says, you can collect your story ideas here. That could be, just a random idea that you don't know what to associate it with yet. You can just jot it down. You can note which game it's intended for or not, and then it'll pop up here. And you can also add notes. If you already know what legacy it should associate to or pertain to a generation, character, save file, you can add that here, and it'll then also show up in that save file or in that character's profile and whatnot accordingly. So you don't have to know that yet when you're putting it in here. And we also have that button here, right? That quick button to be able to create a story idea on all of the top level pages. And when you do that, it'll basically collect here. And that's where you can also check a story idea as done, and it'll go under played ideas. So that's an easy way to keep track of those ideas. And you can also click into an idea and have more space to write notes. So here we see, let me just make sure, yeah, so we have to always make sure you click that button here, but then you can just jot all the notes you want here, and then you have like a lot of space to really, because this is again a field that can expand, that you can format, and so you can really go into detail about your idea, and it's always connected with that record. So it's never information that just stands on its own. Gameplay ideas, that's basically, so the difference here is whereas a story idea is like more about a storyline, maybe you already have like a character in mind, a gameplay idea is more so an idea you have to maybe use a certain feature in a new pack, for example, and it's just a reminder that you want to do something, or a new way to use something that has been in the game for a while. So that's what I mean by gameplay ideas. Build ideas, obviously you would collect any ideas you have for a new property, and then you can connect that property to it and yeah, move on from there, and that's where you can collect those ideas. Matches is really fun. Originally I was thinking love matches because that's what I need it for. I like to keep track of when Sims have crushes on each other, maybe when they're kids or in high school or college, and like I already want to think of them coming together later in life, or I don't know, I like to think of like little love stories before they even happen, and to keep track of that, I think it's fun to have some sort of collection like this. But why not actually have just normal matches? Like it could just be like friends, right, that you want to come together later in life, or it could even be enemies that you already like contemplating and plotting out like this drama ahead of time. And so that's what the matches section is for. Here you can create a new match. You can select which characters are involved, so it could even be multiple characters if you wanted. The save file, and any other information, like you can also add notes, and then you have it collected out of your mind on into Notion, and then when you want to play that match, you can do that. And these matches will also show up in those profiles of those Sims as well. And so when you're playing with that Sim, it's also like a reminder of, oh yeah, Miguel wanted to go and get, be buddies with Thomas. Yeah, that's something I wanted to do. And then you can add more notes about when you wanted to do it or in which context. So that's really fun. And then, of course, we cannot miss having a name collection. I feel like that is in all of the planners and tools I've ever made. You always have a name collection that's like a must-have, right? So here you can collect girl names, boy names, neutral names, and family names. And then once they've been used, they will be collected under this tab. And so if you've used a name, you can just click done, and then it'll remove from the view. Super easy to use, super simple, but I think powerful because you're always running out of ideas for names, right? And so that's a way you can reference those. And last but not least, we have this scratch pad here where you can just write as many notes as you want, as many lines. You can have line breaks and all that. You can format it. It's just a space where you can just, I guess, brain dump a little bit, because I know that is something that a lot of people are also used to and most comfortable with. And that's actually what I want to also show off. So we just now saw the my goals section and the notes and ideas section. That's where you'll be saving most of these types of content, so your storyline ideas, any goals you have as a simmer. But I wanted to also give you an option to collect information in a more classic way, in the format you're most used to. So if you're like familiar with Google Doc or Word. And so for this, let's close that. For this, I have created notebooks. And so we are now in the notebook section. So let me just close this. So you can have notebooks for yourself, for your characters, or for your legacies. And if you have a character notebook or a legacy notebook, it'll also be shown in that corresponding character or legacy profile under the story section, if I'm not mistaken. You'll find notebooks. I believe in the legacy page it's shown, and also for generations, you can collect it for them as well. It'll be shown under the family, estate, or heritage section, I believe. So there are notebooks that you can create. So here's an example of a notebook I created for myself. So this is what it looks like if you were to create a fresh new notebook. You have a cover image that you can change, of course, or you can leave it as is. I thought it would be cute to have it look like a composition notebook. So you have top level information that you should fill in if it's relevant. So if I'm creating a notebook to keep track of information of any sort for a game or for anything else, then I can do that here. So long as it's checked here as my notebook, it will show up in my notebook section. And I can change the title here. So this is the cover page. Then I have here a button to go back to the home page. So as you can see, this is the only page, I think, in the SimGuardian. I might be mistaken, but that doesn't have that classic sidebar navigation. So this is just to keep things simple and streamlined and classic. So we have here the menu for the page we're on, which so far we only have this one headline, so there's only one shown here. We have a sections menu here, and as you can see, each section has pages. I can add a new section and I can add a new page just by clicking the button. And that section has its own page as well, and you can create a new page just by clicking on the new page button. And then if you wanted to modify a page, like let's say I change the name, page 1. This is the page, and this is how we get back to that cover page, is just by clicking this button here. It has the title of the notebook. We can also add more information here. As you can see, the menu would continue here if I were to add more headers. I can add photos here. I can add text. Let's say I want to go back to the main page. Here you can see that page name that I've changed here is shown. I can also change the icon if I wanted to anything. Let's say I want an alien, and that icon will show up on this page as well. So I'm going back to the cover page. So the beauty of the notebook is its simplicity. So you just type text. You can also type outside of that box if you wanted to. You can change everything here. I just wouldn't delete this part because that is important for the navigation within each section and the different pages that you create. You can rename the sections. You can rename that here. You can do all of that customization. The only thing here is anything you were to type here is not connected to a record per se. Like, it is connected to this notebook record. So this notebook in itself is a record. It's part of a database, but you wouldn't be able to reference the information you type here or the images you add here in any other part of Notion, where, as you saw beforehand, I was able to see goals of a character in multiple places of the SimGuardian, depending on the view I was looking at, because it was an explicit record, like a field property. Whereas here we're typing in the space of a record, the blank page space, where beforehand you've seen me use views only. Here now we're actually like using text and typing into this area. And so that is very familiar and fun, and you can maybe feel a bit more free with that, but it's just so you know, you won't be able to see that information anywhere else in the SimGuardian, but you might not want to, right? So I wanted to create that type of space as well in SimGuardian, one that feels very home and simple, where you could even have your beginnings if you want, and then you can always dive into the more complex areas. So I'll also be creating a light version of the save file page to make it easier to navigate, especially if you're like unfamiliar with Notion and you don't want to be overwhelmed. Then you can start with a light version of the save file that doesn't have all of the bells and whistles. But the beauty of it is, of course, we have everything connected in databases, so at any point in time you can change from that light version to the more full-fledged version, and you wouldn't be losing any data, and it would be super easy. So those are the notebooks, which I think is a really cool and cute feature, one that, you know, has its strengths in its simplicity. Next week, I'll be diving into how you can create a backstory in the SimGuardian, super quick and easy. And I think like it's just 3 simple steps. Until then, happy simming!